Hey everyone, I wanted to get on here today to talk a little bit about third eye vision and spiritual sight. A lot of people, when they start thinking about, seeing things with your third eye, you will start to think about, visually seeing things, seeing energy, seeing different beings, and, seeing things through, your eyes or your third eye. But it can come in many different forms and ways. Some people's third eye vision is actually auditory. Some people's is taste. People with synesthesia, how, they can hear colors or taste sounds and different things like that. It's pretty much the same with your third eye vision and your spiritual sight. You can end up seeing things without actually seeing them. Like sometimes when I'm looking at things with my third eye, it's not that I actually see it. I'm getting a feeling, I'm getting a touch, I'm getting a sound, or many of different things, because it comes in what's the best way to describe or to show you what it is at that time. And a lot of people get caught up on that vision and that, oh, it's going to show you. So you're thinking that you're going to see it visually. But sometimes that's not the case. So if you take the time to actually think about it and look at it, you will see that it can change. You might be able to see it visually. No, there are people that do see things visually, but then there's also people that hear it. There are people that taste it. There are people that feel it. It becomes as an inner knowing, and you have to learn what authority you have in order to process these different types of things. Because as you're going along as a spiritual being out here in this system, you'll start to understand that things aren't always cut and dry. And the words that we use to describe things sometimes aren't the best way to describe it. Because again, when you say your third eye vision or your spiritual sight, it's not actually a sight. It's a intuition. It's an inner knowing of what it is. And how that comes to you can be different from person to person. It can come to you in many different ways. Like I said, it comes to me in a few different ways. Sometimes I can hear it. Sometimes I can see it. Sometimes I can taste it. Sometimes I can feel it. And it's all up to you in taking your journey, through meditation and, following through with some of your spiritual practices in order to understand what your authority is telling you and how it's telling you to perceive the things. So instead of saying third eye vision, I like to say your third eye perception, because it's how you perceive it. And the way you perceive it can be different. I met somebody once before who, when I was like, okay, well, how do you see that? How do you visualize that? They're like, what do you mean? And I said, well, no, when you visualize it, what are you seeing? And they're like, well, I don't see anything. I just hear it. And every time I hear it, then I get to know what it is, because, sound is a frequency and they pick up on that different frequency, and I met somebody else who was like, oh, whenever they see somebody who's really angry, they come within their energy field, they be like, it just puts a bad taste in their mouth. These phrases that people use all come from people tapping in to that third eye perception. So when you are looking and trying to be like, okay, why isn't my third eye activated? Why can't I see these things? Why am I not noticing these things? You very well might already have your third eye open. Your third eye might already be working in a way to show you how to perceive all these different things that are going on around you. But you have to be able to tap into that and understand how you best understand it, how you best perceive it. Because if you don't understand how you are perceiving these things, then you can get very confused, because there's a lot of people that will be like, oh no, you have to be able to see it in order to understand it. Well, do you? You have to ask that question to yourself. Do you really have to see it? Or do you have to hear it? Do you have to feel it? Do you have to taste it? You know what I mean? Do you have to have that inner knowing of what it is? Because sometimes it might not even be, one of the senses that we think of when we're talking about this vision that we're having, this perception that we're having. It could just be an inner knowing where you just know it. It's innate to you. You don't even have to, have certain visions or certain sights, certain sounds, certain tastes, say certain smells. That doesn't work for you, because it's just an inner knowing. So you just have to understand that everybody is different in how they perceive things. So tap in and start learning how you perceive things. And hey, you might notice some extra things out here.